tea in Hindi is called chai. So when you say, can I have some chai tea, you're basically saying tea tea, which really doesn't make sense. Also, chai stems from the Chinese word cha, which also means tea.
Okay, what are we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about tea. Let's go.
The shape of the woman guide you.
In Iran, if you say tea, you want tea, it refers to black tea most of the time. Some people like to have like almost full. That's something that people are looking for. Tea should be full, hot, nice color, and nice flavor. That's like a characteristics of tea in Iran. So for drinking tea, we never mix sugar with it unless it's for breakfast that we want to drink sweet tea. Otherwise, we drink it like having like this with sugar cubes. We put sugar cube in the mouth and we take multiple sips of tea over it and we mix it and we drink it. In parties and Iranian gatherings, tea is one thing that is always there and we drink it a few times when we are together.
Tea as a plant, the Camellia sinensis, has always been in the northeastern part of India in a state called as Assam, which borders China. And it has been there for more than 2,000 or 3,000 years. But it was never drank culturally. It was only after the British came to India in the last 100 years that they brought down the culture of tea drinking. And you could say it was around 1920s where we actually started drinking tea. What Indians in different families and households do is they add their own spices to it, and that would range from cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, ginger, and anything else that they can think of. And that's usually from city to city or culture to culture, which it would change. Tea drinking is pretty simple in India. Once you brew the tea, all you basically do, and this of course depends on how sweet you like your tea, and Indians usually like their tea to be very sweet. 2 cups or 2 spoons of sugar is what you usually add, and these would be 2 spoons. Pretty good. It's a good taste. It's good and strong and has the right amount of sweetness and a bit of ginger, I believe, along with it. So yeah, this is a good masala chai.
So in China, this is how we usually prepare our tea. Our very first strain is just to wash all the cups to make sure everything's hygienic. After we've washed it, then we can start actually brewing the tea. And it usually takes 10 to 15 seconds for the tea to brew. So once it's ready, then we can start brewing it. And usually you're always going to be serving the guests first as a show of respect.
There's not really a Russian tea per se. Like all the cultures are pretty much intertwined and interconnected. So there's not a very distinct Russian tea. What the samovar is basically a device to brew and boil water as well. So it's an integrated 2-in-1 device. It brews your tea and you can dispense the tea right away. The cup holder, so what it is, it's basically a device to just store a hot glass of tea. It's very useful when you're on the move, like in a train, or when you just don't want to burn your hands. So you put your glass in here, you take it, and you drink it like that.
So Australia's tea culture originated from Britain. It came across obviously when the colonisation happened. Loose leaf tea was more prevalent, and then it became tea bags, I think, around the baby boomer era. Because I remember my nana having a teapot, but my parents only ever used tea bags. If you're upset, I'll make you a good cup of tea and that will help you to feel better. And that is a British tradition. You know, a cuppa brings cheer to you, so that's like a British tradition that's still continued on through. But I think it's become more about the emotional connection that people have, and it's not necessarily about the tea itself anymore. I think Australians use tea bags because it's just a matter of convenience. The culture around having a cup of tea is more about connecting emotionally or conversationally. It's more about connection rather than the tea itself. I feel like that's actually starting to slowly change, again, as I said, with like, you know, companies like T2 sort of bringing in this niche market for loose leaf tea and different flavours and different infusions.
And then I add hot water, which is just boiled. We can have it with sugar cubes if you want also.
Should we try? I'm not a big fan of sugar. All right, let's try for the sake of tradition.
Okay, do you know
Maybe
how
a
to do
half
it?
one? No, can you show me?
Okay, first you put one in your mouth,
Okay.
and then you take a sip
Okay. Like,
of tea on it, over it.
so do I just like lick it? Oh, you pour over the. Okay. Like-
And let it to melt.
I prefer it in the side,
Now you can do
and
it.
then I can taste the tea more, and then the tea kind of like washes around it, and then comes back into my palate. Wow, that's really cool. I really like that.
Wait, what tea is that?
This is oolong.
Oolong.
Yeah. So a lot of Chinese people actually do drink it, and most of the time they drink it while they're eating because it's supposed to help with digestion. So yeah, you can see it's slightly like golden brown. You wanna try it?
It's nice. Let's try it. Let's go.
Okay. What do you think?
Huh?
What do you think?
Oh, it's pretty weird. I think.
How so? I think it's a little strong.
I think it's
But you
like,
can-
yeah, it's like black tea, but a bit muted, you know? Like 50% or something like that.
Yeah, it's actually how it tastes.
Every person who comes from different countries with different culture has something new for other people, and there are always interesting things that we can learn from each other, and I like it when I hear something new and interesting. It's cool to share
Yeah, same.
and try different new things and learn about other people.
Yeah.
As cultures intertwine and like intermesh, you know, the world's gonna be less diverse, I think, as like the world, like, yeah, as people like move from one country to another, it's gonna be less diverse in a way, but more diverse in another way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because of all the globalization and immigration right now, it's a lot of people are gonna be moving around a lot more, and it's gonna be more diverse, like you said. But also at some point, we would start to maybe our cultures would start to mesh and
mesh
mix up
together.
Yeah, and we might be able to like lose some background for like the cultures that are not very strong, maybe.
Well, I think the future of diversity is more going to be an individual expression because of globalization happening, and because of, like, you know, Melbourne is very multicultural. We have so many different cultures living and influencing each other, like you know, unconsciously,
Yeah.
you're just naturally going to pick those things
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's going to become more individual and, yeah, rather than very distinctly, oh, you're from this culture, you're from that culture. And I think maybe, you know, the colour of our skin or our race is probably going to be the only thing that really perhaps identifies us, or our religious
Yeah.
beliefs and
Yeah.
or expressions.
Yeah, probably. It would
Yeah.
be like that.